So on June 12th, Mr. Wiggin, you or your son,
No, it's me.
you asked the defendant via Facebook, sell the car yet? And you, Mr. Mays, say no.
Correct.
When did you sell the car?
I don't remember an exact date, but it was towards the middle of June.
Okay, but clearly June 12th, you hadn't sold the car.
Right.
And then he responds with, Venmo is refusing to refund me, and it says Chris Mays left the group.
I have no idea why I said that.
Okay, but you knew that he was still interested in the car because he's asking, had you sold the car yet?
Yes.
Okay. Why did you sell the car after?
Because I hadn't heard from Nathan since that.
Okay, but you didn't respond. You didn't get this message? You didn't get the last message?
The Venmo is refusing to refund me. I didn't get that.
Chris Mays left the group. You couldn't reach out to them and say, hey, are you still interested? I'm asking this because you have the money. You have their $500 and they don't have a car. You sold the car for how much?
500.
So you have $1,000 and they don't have a car. So they gave you $500 for nothing?
He had disputed the charge with
And he told you that they were refund. That's why he's asking, did you sell the car? Right?
But like I said, I didn't get the last message, so I did not know.
Okay, so why didn't you make sure before I sell this car that they're still interested? Why didn't you figure that out?
Negligence on my part.
Okay, so then when you sold the car for $500, why didn't you give them their $500 back?
Because that $500 is the same situation with Nathan's $500. It went to bills.
Why didn't you work out a payment plan? He was willing to do that. He said, what can you pay? I'm willing to work with you.
Right, at the time, I was not working.
Who cares? Why didn't you say, okay, cool? You just kept saying it's between you and Venmo. That was your response. And he was saying, I'm willing to work with you. You could have said, okay, you know what? Give me some time. I'm sure if he said, give me some time, you would have worked with him. Because it seemed like this wasn't the route you wanted to take.
No.
I don't need to throw up these messages, do I?
No, ma'am.
Did you include the photos of the car on cinder blocks in your Facebook ad?
After they essentially purchased the car.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up.
Okay, Ethan, have you learned a lesson?
Yes.
What?
That I need to do more research and see a car in person before I put money down on it.
Good, good. I think it was great, Mr. Wiggin, as a mom, that you let him decide. Are we going to eat it for $500 or are we going to go to small claims court? I mean, these are as-is sales. And if this hadn't gone this way, you'd probably be in a very different position, right? If you just regretted the purchase. Have you learned anything, Mr. Mays?
Yes, ma'am.
What?
To be a little bit more transparent with my listings.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other questions?
I'm done.
Yeah.
All right. The parties are excused while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you all.
This court is now in recess. You can step out.
Look, I think this is partially a lesson of how your demeanor in court can dictate how you're treated by the judges often. It's hard to keep yelling at Mr. Mays when he's, realizes he did something wrong, but what he did is egregious.
Yeah.
And I intend to make sure he knows that.
He ripped them off twice.
Twice.
One by misrepresenting the car, and then two, when that fell through, by selling their car.
And what made me more upset by this situation, because we see this all the time, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is that it happened to a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And all he wanted to do was keep himself busy for a summer, doing something that he loves, being productive, and to take his hard-earned money is what really hurt me.
Yeah.
So.
And, like I kind of insinuated earlier, I think he would have gotten away with it if he had just taken the money and given them the car. They were not going to pursue it. I think it was great that Dad handled it that way, and that initially this was going to be a lesson, a $500 lesson, which is not a cheap lesson, but it's not a life-altering lesson either. But then he went and just sold the car to somebody else.
Yeah, they did everything right except, as you continually point out, see the product before you make the purchase, because that could have avoided it. And we see from some of the text the reason he didn't. He said, I'm going to sell it right away. If you can't get here now, I'm going to sell it. But anytime someone gives you that hard pressure sales pitch like that, maybe you got to think.
You got to think, why are they doing this to you?
Yeah. So verdict in favor of the plaintiff.
For the full $500, and hopefully Ethan can get a new project for the summer.
Yeah. All right.